Hey, hi everybody. Tom here. We've got Deb behind the camera, adding voices a little later on. Say hi, Deb.
Hi, Deb.
There's Deb back there recording everything for us. Welcome to your story this week. We have a great story for you this week. I was just looking through here. This week we're going to read A Couple of Boys Have the Best Week Ever. Doesn't that sound like a great book? I wanted to show you a little bit of the outside of the book because the artwork here is just as fun as the story is. Look up here in the corner. This only costs 25 cents. Oh, wait a minute. Underneath it says, "You wish." So I have a feeling it costs a little bit more than that. Then we've got these two guys here. It looks like they're out in the middle of a pond or a lake or something like that, or on the beach there. One of them saying, "How long do we have to stand here and smile?" The other one's saying, "Only for this picture, and then we can go back to being normal." I'll bet you've had those times when you've had to stand for family photos like that too. Know exactly how they feel. This story was written by Marla Frazee, and it says Sun and Fun. So this is going to be a great story for the middle of the summer. We hope you're enjoying your summer no matter how weird it is out there right now. On the back I wanted to show you, because we introduce a couple of other characters back here, it says, "Don't you want to spend a whole week of summer with these characters?" And down here it looks James, that must have been one of the kids on the cover, and he's saying, "You say his name, Amen." And here's Amen down here. You can see it's spelled a little different. Amen's pointing to this guy here and saying, "These are my grandparents." So we have Bill and Pam, and these are the grandparents. Bill's saying, "Do you like penguins?" And he's got a penguin shirt on. So we'll have to see how penguins play into this story a little bit. And Pam over here, the grandmother, she's saying, "Are you hungry?" And look what she's holding. She's holding a whole big plate full of pancakes there. That sounds like a lot of grandmas. They want to make sure that you're hungry and have enough to eat. So this is the characters that we're going to see in the story. I also wanted to point out on the inside, this is the time of year a lot of kids would be going to camp. And unfortunately, a lot of the camps are closed, so we're not able to do that. But if you've been to camp before like I have, you've seen some of these pictures of yourself doing the exact same thing. Looks like they're up here, nature camp behind them, and they're all sitting outside singing songs and picking acorns, and just this is what I liked as much as anything else, just laying and looking at the clouds, all sorts of stuff. Just like I said, wonderful artwork in this book as we're going to go along and find out here. So we're going to find out all about A Couple of Boys Have the Best Week Ever. So we're going to slide the camera around here and get to the first page. So here we are. So it looks like one of them sitting in a car seat there. You can see he's all strapped in, and he's got a brochure for Nature Day Camp. So here is A Couple of Boys Have the Best Week Ever by Marla Frazee. One hot summer day, James went on a long drive to Bill and Pam's house so he could go to a week of nature camp with his friend Eamon. Bill and Pam are Eamon's grandparents. They live at the beach. Eamon was already there. Well, look there, you can see there's a guy. Bill's got his penguin thing on. Look, we see penguins down here, and you can see out the window the beach over here. So obviously they live at the beach, and this is going to be a fun story. So here we have the three of them there. Nature camp was Bill's idea. Bill loved nature, especially cold, wild, and remote places with hardly any people. He had been to many of these sorts of places before, but the place he most wanted to visit was Antarctica, because of the penguins. Pam said she preferred people over penguins. Eamon thought this chat was fascinating, but he hoped James would arrive soon.
Ding dong!
And finally, James did. He arrived with a couple of his belongings. That looks like more than a couple of his belongings. Looks like he's come for a long time, doesn't it? That's more than I'd carry for a week. He'd never been away from home for an entire week, so he was very sad when his mother drove away.
Bye!
The first thing Bill wanted to do before nature camp started was to take James and Eamon to the penguin exhibit at the Natural History Museum. Pam offered to pack a picnic of peanut butter and honey sandwiches. James and Eamon discussed their options.
Do you want to go? No.
They decided to stay home and enjoy Bill and Pam's company. In the morning, Bill took the boys to nature camp. The road was long and curvy. James and Eamon learned a lot of new vocabulary words while Bill drove. On the way back that afternoon, James and Eamon described their first nature camp day to Bill.
I thought you were supposed to walk on a hike. Yeah, not stand and look at some flower for an hour.
When they got home, Bill unrolled a large map of Antarctica on the living room floor. Pam gave James and Eamon coffee ice cream icebergs with hard chocolate sauce on top. Nature camp made the boys very hungry. And it made them look at everything more carefully. I'm not quite sure whether she should have given them the coffee or not. That might have been a mistake.
Whoa.
Bill brought tide charts and a globe to the dinner table. Pam served banana waffles with maple syrup.
The food is way better here than at my house. Mine too.
At night, James and Eamon slept on a blow-up mattress with an automatic pump. Bill and Pam wondered if they would be lonely in the downstairs bedroom. But they weren't. Look at all of the things they've got around them here. I'm not sure whether that's in their imagination or in their conversation and things they were talking about, but look at all the things they've got around them, to include some penguins over here, a snake, airplanes. That must have been a good time they were having that night. Before they left for nature camp the next morning, Bill handed each a pair of binoculars and a list of birds to look for on the way home. The boys reported their findings.
His freckles are huge. Yeah, and his tongue is gross.
As nature camp week went by, James and Eamon practically became one person. They did everything together in exactly the same way. To save time, Bill began calling them Jamin. He would say, "Hey, Jamin, think about whether or not you want to see that penguin exhibit." And Jamin would think about it. Then, in complete agreement, the campers would decide to practice quiet meditation downstairs, eat more banana waffles, and enjoy the beach together.
Want to go outside? Nope.
Nature camp was just so great. And then on Friday afternoon, nature camp was over. James and Eamon recapped the week during the ride home.
I think it should be called Sit Around Camp. Yeah, or Sweat a Lot Camp.
On their last night together, Bill, Pam, James, and Eamon had a popcorn party. James and Eamon soon discovered that a party with Bill and Pam could get pretty noisy. So they wandered outside for some peace and quiet. Tomorrow, they had to go home. They looked up at the sky and out at the ocean. For the first time all week, they couldn't think of anything to do. The sun went down, and the stars came out. Then at last, James and Eamon finally got real busy with something. And it turned out to be the very best part of the very best week ever. Looks like they're doing something down here on the dock. I wonder what they're doing here. In the morning, James and Eamon couldn't wait to show Bill and Pam what they had made.
It's Antarctica. The white rocks are icebergs, and the brown rocks are whales. And this big stick is a big stick. Oh, and that penguin there is Jamin, and he hopes he can be a nature camper again soon.
Bill gave the boys a big hug. He said, "This is how penguins huddle together to keep warm." Pam said she preferred people hugs over penguin huddles. James and Eamon hugged Bill and Pam back. Well, sort of. And when their moms finally arrived to take them home, James and Eamon gave each the secret Jamin handshake.
Whee!
And then they walked, like a couple of penguins, all the way out the front door. The end. Wow, that was a great book. I love that book. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to take my binoculars and put on my hat and go out into my nature camp out in my own backyard and see what kind of birds I can see out there. Well, we hope you enjoyed the story. Once again, A Couple of Boys Have the Best Week Ever by Marla Frazee. Maybe when we get back into the library, you can pick this one up and take it home. So anyway, that's our book for this week. We hope you have a good time, have a good, safe week, and we'll see you again next week, okay? Bye-bye.